Hey, this is Dr. July. Why can't you leave a relationship that you know you shouldn't be in? I mean, you know you shouldn't be there. It's toxic, it's sick, it's bothering you, or you're getting gaslighted, but you still stay there. Why can't you? We're going to break that down today. I'm here with Daye Veltri. She is an LPC, licensed professional counselor, and we are going to break this down. Stay on to the end because we're going to go through a lot of things. Daye, what is your opinion? You do a lot of relationship talks, and I see your stuff on Instagram. Great stuff about relationships. What is going on? Why do we get into relationships that we just know that, we're down the road in the relationship and we just keep on doubling down, investing more and more of ourselves into it, but it's toxic. What's going on?
Yes, I've seen this in my work, like this is very common, very, very complex too. The majority of the people believe, oh, they don't know better. People know, the people know what is going on. They have a part of them that is very aware, but at the same time, it's very difficult because they are attached already. And
Uh,
sometimes attachment is stronger than logic. And, people stay there trying to, remembering the good moments, remember to connect again. And these two parts are in this constant battle. So that's why people stay in this type of relationships.
so you said the remembering the good times. So in other words, you're saying I could have a good time. Is this my brain doing this? Like I'm thinking about, oh, well, it was good one time, and then now it's going to be good again. I just have to hold on, but really it's more toxic than not, and I'm just holding on for that one time again.
That it is called in psychology, this intermittent reinforcement. I'm
Yeah,
going to repeat
intermittent
that.
reinforcement. Yeah, that's exactly what it
Intermittent
is.
reinforcement.
It's like playing a slot machine. It's the same thing.
Exactly. It's the same principle.
Yeah,
Same principle. You keep playing because you keep hoping for things to go back again to where it was. So you keep playing. If you win every time playing the slot machine, over time it gets boring. But when
exactly.
you win, sometimes you keep playing. Same thing in relationships. You're playing, hoping, because in one moment you feel connected, you feel attached, you feel this connection. In the other moment you feel disconnected in emotional pain, and you keep playing, looking for that rush again. That's dopamine. That's what the brain does. So it's a
Wow.
very complicated situation to be in, but the brain is doing this to minimize the emotional pain.
So we are getting a dopamine rush. We're getting high on a relationship, in other words.
Exactly. That's
Okay.
basically
Wow.
what it is.
Well, let's cut to something. Why don't people so I guess you just answered that. That's why people don't just leave. They don't just go, okay, uh, or maybe they do walk out and then they think about it a half a day or a day or a week and then they're back, or sometimes a year or something.
Difficult to stay in the discomfort, emotional discomfort, and they
Mm,
believe this is not right. Maybe I'm
mm,
in love with this person. Maybe
mm.
we're connecting in this different way. But the reality is that you're not even attached to a person. You are attached to the cycle already, to the rush, the ups and downs, the
The
ups and downs.
cycle.
Yeah.
So I don't want to use the word addiction because I think people use that word too casually. To us in the clinical world, that has a specific meaning, but that's what some people would casually, accidentally call that. I mean, but it is something that can kind of just make us stay there. So the inconsistency and the cycle, you're saying that's what makes people just stay there and stay linked in. Okay, let's going back to the slot machine. What if instead on that slot machine I never hit 777, I keep hitting 666, and I'm getting bad luck numbers. But so you're saying I'm still going back to that one thing. I'm holding on to that one thing, or that two things, and the three things that I remember, and it's just okay.
You're still there hoping, you know, if I keep playing, this will come back. If I keep playing, this will come back, hoping that this,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a very different thing, the reality. So that's why it's very important to do reality checks, the reality and what you're hoping it was. Because in one moment, the relationship made you feel, satisfied, connected, loved, but that's not there anymore. So you're hoping there that will go back, that
What
you will feel that connection again.
What about I'm stuck? What about we opened a bank account together? We bought a car together. We have a couple of kids together. We may or may not be married. What about if I'm stuck? Yeah, I know you have clients that come in and they're stuck, right?
you want to leave. You realize, okay, this is not working for me anymore and I want to leave. But your identity is also blend with this person, the sense of safety is also blend with this
Sense of
person.
safety.
Even if that is not safe, but sometimes familiarity feels safe for people,
Yeah.
because thinking of the unknown makes, very difficult to leave these situations, what
Yeah.
about I'm going to feel lonely, I'm going to feel this type of way, and that's complicates even further the dynamic.
Check this out. I call that in one of my books years ago. I think it was Understanding the Tin Man. One of my books I wrote many
Mm-hmm.
years ago. Seems like 100 years ago now. Time flies. I call it the discomfort zone. That is where we get comfortable in something that's uncomfortable and unhealthy, but it's what we're used to. There's an old saying, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. And I think sometimes people get stuck in that in relationships. And there's also a lot of fear. I just don't want to step out. I'm going to be alone. I'm going to not ever find anybody else. And that's if the person wasn't in an abusive type relationship where they were working on your head and gaslighting you and telling you nobody's going to want you and all that stuff. I mean, even if nobody was doing that, you still look at the odds because it is hard out there trying to meet good people. There's fear. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes. There are a lot of fears, and if you change the dynamic, if you decide to leave the dynamic, that means that you need to work on yourself and confront your fears.
Right.
And that's a lot of work. And obviously we know, because we work in this area, that if you do that, eventually you will be better. You're not going to regret it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in the moment, it feels so scary that, sometimes people prefer to stay,
Yeah.
thinking, okay, making a plan, but it's difficult because you need to confront the fears. Being lonely financially,
Yeah.
financial
That's
fears.
real.
And that's real. That's not easy, Sometimes it's very difficult because you don't have a particular plan. You don't know what life would hold for you. So
There
it's,
are even people that
yeah.
stay together and they just decide, hey, let's not break what's here. You go live your life, I'll go live my life. We'll stay together, but we have separate lives. I mean, people do that in marriages. Sometimes they do that in relationships. Sometimes, I don't know. I guess again, being clinical people, we see all kinds of arrangements in life, and the issue that I usually see is that both people haven't really 100% bought into whatever it is. And like one person may say, hey, I'm okay with that. Yeah. And then they're really not. And then that's where the toxicity starts coming in.
It's not healthy. It's not
Yeah.
healthy. So you're doing this because you feel forced or you're afraid, but it's not healthy. You're staying because of other factors.
Speaking
Yeah.
of not healthy, Jaye, let's take a moment here and talk about a very scary subject, and that is domestic violence. Because when we're touching on toxic relationships like we're talking about, and we're talking about leaving or staying and figuring it out, it's not healthy to stay in a relationship where there's domestic violence, because we know the cycle of domestic violence starts with insults, punches, shoves, escalates, right? And then next thing you know, you're getting broken bones, and then someone's in hospital, and then someone is killed. And it happens to women, it happens to men as well. This whole cycle of domestic violence, one of the most dangerous places is if you decided to leave someone. That can be one of the most dangerous places to where some of the behavior becomes even more. We see this on the news every night. So I mean, people have to have a safety plan. They need to get professional assistance, like from a shelter or people that know how to extricate you out of these situations.
Yes.
And that's terrifying.
Remember
Because
that we talked about the cycle, right?
uh-huh.
This cycle of connection, disconnection, and all these things. That cycle is rooted in childhood. If you learn that you need
Oh,
to
okay.
work to be loved, if you
Yeah.
learn that you need to
Yeah.
be doing this in order to connect with another human being, that stays with you through your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So, sometimes the partner is, a safe person to be in. People start thinking, oh, they they helped me when I needed him. Or she was there when I was in most difficult situation, and people connect
Oh,
with these things.
yeah,
It's very
yeah,
difficult to leave, and then when you
yeah,
decide to leave, you are in a very complicated situation because actually you're not safe. The person will be more intense. So it's
yeah.
very
And
important to,
dangerous, potentially
yes,
dangerous.
yes,
Yeah,
it's very important to help create a safety plan to leave. Not Don't rush, think through,
hmm,
recognize your patterns, like, okay, when I am feel connected to this person, what is that I'm doing? When I feel disconnected to this person, what is that I'm doing? From where this is coming from? Take a moment, take a moment to think, analyze, write down. And even if it is not a therapy, someone that you trust that can help you to be in the reality, that can help you and help you to create a plan for you to be safe.
and take advantage of professional resources that are
Mm-hmm.
professionals at this. Like where we are here, we have the Houston Area Women's Center. Then there's the National Domestic Violence Hotline, and these people can help you understand how to safely handle those situations. So I definitely wanted to put that out there. Uh,
Important
yeah, because
resources.
even sometimes somebody's checking your phone or somebody's monitoring your email. So even sometimes when you reach out for help, you got to do that very secretively. So we want to put that out there for ladies and men. For men, it's even more stigmatizing. It's horrible for anybody. I just want to make sure that that's underscored. So as we close out our conversation here, what what's a tip or two that you have for people who are, let's say, first of all, they're not married. They're not all combined up with each other financially and legally. What should they do? Should they just bolt and leave or should what?
I think, like I said before, it's very important for you to think and recognize the patterns. Educate yourself before making any decision. Educate yourself. What is how the cycle looks like for you, uh, and another thing that is very important is to tolerate emotional discomfort. People tend to run out of the emotional discomfort to
Yeah,
get the dopamine again and to feel
yeah,
better. And
yeah.
the emotional discomfort doesn't mean that you're, doing something wrong. Means that this is new. So that's very
Hmm.
important to sit with your feelings and to learn how to navigate through them. And obviously to have someone that you can trust and help you to get out of this type of dynamics. But it takes time,
Okay.
and don't rush it. Think through, write down. Obviously, like you said, very confidential, taking care of you. But sometimes you don't know who's reading. So if you need to write and then throw everything away, but writing is a form of therapy.
Yeah, definitely. An
So
underrated,
yeah.
underappreciated form of therapy,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. And I'm going to add something to what you just said. First of all, I want to tell people be brave. And this goes for single people in a relationship or married people in a relationship that's not working, whatever. Usually, you have more ability to move on than you think you do. But the things that you mentioned, the dopamine, the cycle, the patterns, you're so cognitively fixed in that. You're so used to that. You're so accustomed to that that it makes it hard to move out of that. But sometimes growth is going to have some very uncomfortable aspects to it. So that's one thing. The other thing I want to leave people with is wherever you go, there you are. So you got to do the self work. You got to do something like get into some therapy or talk to some friends. And I'm not talking about the friends at the Amen choir. I'm talking about the friends that are really friends, really love you enough to tell you, you know, directly things, that you may not want to hear. But you've got to do the self work. Because a lot of times when I see people talking about relationship problems, a lot of times they really have individual issues separate from the relationship that led to that relationship or to staying in that relationship. So you want to address that too. It's not always just about the relationship. That's the piece I want to add in there. So Daye Veltri, thank you so much for joining us today.
So much, Dr. July. Thank you. I really appreciate you.
Hey, it was great. Thanks, and I hope
Thank
you'll
you.
come back again, and we can break down some more topics.
Thank you.
All right, take care. And for those of you who are watching, jump in and check out the links in my bio. There's some free material there for you to download about toxic relationships, automatic negative thinking, about ADHD, just a number of things that you can download there for free, as well as some, if you want a deeper look at some of the things, there's some workbooks there that you can download and they're not expensive either. It's all about service to you. I'm Dr. William July, the psychologist who breaks down psychology into real talk. See you again.